Thank you, Dan, for that introduction. It's great to be here. I want to thank Bill Dorsey, Tony Knopp, for bringing me here once again. I'm a big fan of this conference because I don't like boring conferences that don't get anything done. And I think that there's real talk here, and I like that that's a theme. I think conferences have been getting increasingly more safe, which is a problem, but again, I think real ideas happen here. I'm not going to be safe. I'm going to call it as it is, even though it might be painful to some of you. So I hope the food is far down in your esophagus enough that it won't come up. A year ago, I came before you and said I couldn't predict the future, but I was pretty sure that the ticketing marketplace was as dynamic as ever before. That became the reality. In the last year, if there's one storyline, it's that we've seen more teams decide that they would rather hold inventory themselves than offload it to brokers. For many years, big accounts presented teams with a great opportunity. Have a couple people take the risk off the table, give the team automatic revenue, even if the product on the field, court, or ice went south. And the growth of the internet allowed these brokers to take on more inventory. The local business all of a sudden became a national business. Anyone in Cleveland could eliminate their hate for LeBron James by profiting off him with a Miami Heat ticket business. An entrepreneurial student at NYU here in New York whose favorite player was Stephen Curry could have a little Warriors ticket business on the side. And when I heard a cab driver tell me he developed a Brooklyn Nets ticket brokerage, I knew the business had jumped the shark. But that business has quickly soured because four things happened. One, teams paid more attention to that information more than ever before, analyzing broker margins and figuring out future pricing. Two, teams didn't like seeing all the stuff that was being sold, especially below face value on the resale market. Three, the national broker, unlike the local broker of the past, was a faceless credit card number to a team exec, therefore making him or her easier to eliminate. And four, and this is a key point, due to huge television deals, ticketing became an even smaller part of the revenue. And that's where we are today. NFL teams en masse have dropped many brokers and for the first time sought to take back the single game sale for themselves. With that, we'll see teams for the first time this year go to variable pricing. You see, even when ticket prices rise, the money isn't as good as it once was as an overall percentage of the pie, thanks to the huge gobs of money leagues and teams are pulling in on their media deals. So if teams have a bad year, not offloading to brokers is being seen as okay. We know that teams now are being encouraged by leagues to hold back tickets as part of taking back the sale. The NBA's official exchange through Ticketmaster proves that it's a priority of the leagues to recondition the fan to stop going to the resale sites first. I think this has proven to be a challenge. Now, there are a couple exceptions to the broker pullback theme, and it's interesting to look at the marketplace and survey those national brokers who have survived. I've done my best. Obviously, I'm an outsider to this, but I've done my best to piece together the winning brokers who still have the big accounts with teams as this consolidation has occurred. The winners, sometimes not the biggest accounts, sometimes not the accounts with the longest relationships, but how about the ones that share data? The pervasiveness of big data is one of the reasons why smart brokers who seek to help teams remain good partners, while those that don't care are being left on the cutting room floor come renewal time. For a business as robust as the sports ticketing business, teams don't know that much about their fans. Owners have grown increasingly uncomfortable with this idea as the owner profile has changed to a younger, more metric-based owner who wants data as much off the field as he gets on it. And so the idea that the person who's sitting in the stands isn't the person whose name is on the account becomes more troublesome. It's one of the reasons why paperless ticketing has been pushed so hard with varying amounts of success over the years. But if you become part of the big data movement, you can protect yourself. One broker I spoke to told me that's why he thinks the teams have kept him. He helped them reprice single game tickets. He helped them reprice certain season locations. He helped them create secondary price floors. Now let that sink in for a minute. What does that mean? It means that brokers, and for many parts of the business, it isn't about the hard cash anymore. It's about how you can make us better in the marketplace. Other winners are guys like Prime Sport. Whether the money they throw at things makes sense, I don't know, but they are locking up a huge amount of tickets through what's called a sponsorship deal. Again, the theme here isn't a one-off transaction where the team sells to a broker. It's a partnership. If teams don't take everything in-house, expect more revenue share deals with partners. The good thing for many in this audience is that as many brokers have become devalued in this new equation, the sponsor has become more valuable. Let's explore why. Unlike the broker sale, where the person ultimately pays the bill to the team and he just cares about the experience for the person who they're offloading the... Let me do that again. Unlike the broker sale, where the person ultimately paying the bill to the team just cares about the margin, the sponsor cares about the experience, even for the person who they're offloading the ticket to. And even in the event that they are giving away some tickets, the person who they're giving away to is often a key client who is interacting with them after the sale. This is very different from the broker sale, which, as the market has become more national, has increasingly become a one-off transaction where the broker and the fan buying the ticket might never speak again. In a sponsor, a team has a dual revenue stream, a paying customer who's buying sponsorship and buying tickets. And a team also has what it needs from the information side. While they might not know who exactly is coming with the sponsor, they know the sponsor's goals and they can learn to make them happier and happier. In a sponsor, a team has a less fickle customer. A broker might do anything to make a sale, even if it's, and I'm sorry to generalize here, but even if it's for pennies on the dollar. Teams have become increasingly more uncomfortable with this as the reporting of these types of cheap deals have become more prevalent in the media. I'm partly responsible for that, I'm sorry. While teams don't expect sponsors to stick tickets to less than ideal games in the office drawer, they do expect them to operate differently, and they often do. Perhaps tickets to a bad game is given to a lower level employee who doesn't normally get on the ticket list, but that transaction isn't being shown to the world. Finally, in a sponsor, a team has a partner. There's a challenge today, and that's getting people in the arena, in the stadium. Never before has the competition versus home and bars been as intense to the live game experience. In 1998, and I think this is the poll, out of all the polls that I've seen, that has really gotten me. In 1998, an ESPN sports poll revealed that 54% of fans would rather watch an NFL game at the game than at home. Last year, that percentage was 24%. Smart teams know that sponsors are partners, and they can help change that equation by creating interactive experiences and solutions. Despite the companies that have been created to allow for an arm's length relationship on discounting tickets that was supposed to make teams more comfortable, you know them, the Groupon, the Travelzoo, the Seat Sumo, the Score Big. The customer knows exactly what's happening. And this is where the big idea comes in with sponsors. If teams are holding back tickets from brokers because they aren't satisfied with how they do business, and they love sponsors because they transact behind closed doors, buy the seats, but they give a lot of them away, sponsors are now in a position to own more of the arena or stadium than ever before. Now let's explore how this happens and how people on the team side and the sponsor side need to act to make sure this works for both sides. From a team side, you can expect teams to open up inventory that used to be sold on a single basis to brokers or to sponsors. One NBA owner told me that it's not worth it for his sales force to spend any more time selling the upper bowl. So what's he going to do? Those upper bowl tickets in the next 2 to 3 years are going to be used mostly in deals with sponsors. Get them to use 200 tickets for charity purposes for a tax deduction, or have more employee outings for team building. In order to create real value and to get sponsors to pay a premium for those tickets, teams have to do more, and I think this has been a theme today. They have to be better at providing premium experiences, team meet and greets, private autograph sessions, locker room tours, chalk talks. Teams have done a better job at this in recent years, but it's nowhere close to where it needs to be. Since teams don't own players and coaches for these outside things, they have to stop being so stingy and try to get these things for free in the name of cooperation. In order to make money, you must spend money. In the coming years, I see teams striking separate speech-making and memorabilia deals with players and coaches that will make them available for most exclusive experiences. I see teams creating special tickets for sponsors with logos and names. I see the team services departments expanding to allow for same-day photo turnaround and jersey framing. Sponsors, when teams expand the ticket offering to you, as I'm sure they will, make sure you are bold and ask for the sky. You can't rely on a client liking the food you present in your suite anymore, or even just the team on the court. If they wanted a ticket to the game, they could have bought it themselves. I haven't seen the data, but I can bet that the more unique of an experience you can provide an important customer with, the more they'll talk to you. Use your power and the big spend you make to work it harder for you. Teams, stop making sponsors ask for these experiences. Do deals with your team's players, past and present. Create a menu of options that sponsors can enjoy. Don't assume that just because you are dealing with a corporate account that they don't want to have access to the perks that family season ticket holders get. I believe this was mentioned earlier on today. Their kids getting to shoot free throws on the court after the game, the opportunity to high-five the players before the game. If you don't think a kid of a client isn't a key player in a relationship with a sponsor, I'm here to tell you you're wrong. Don't assume that just because a team has courtside signage that that's the most important asset that they have. It's becoming less and less important. Teams, you are too rigid with your assets, and you can't afford to do that anymore. Start acting like a high-end restaurant or hotel. For the right price, for the loyalty of being a sponsor, everything should be possible. Think out of the box. Don't tell me what's for sale. Tell me what I absolutely can't have. If I'm a sponsor of the Arizona Diamondbacks, can I get my logo on the wax paper under that 18-inch corn dog that they're selling 450 of those a game? When people ask me what the most dynamic topic in sports business is, ticketing is usually in my top 5 over the last 5 years. It's what makes it such an exciting space to work in, but it's also scary. The sooner you embrace the fear, realize its daily shifting nature, and share information among your colleagues and the people you do business with, the better off you will be. Thank you.